Welcome back, guys. This is Gaming with Austin, and today we are on episode 32 of Pyramid City. I was kind of busy setting up my training log. Eventually, as I get stronger and stronger, eventually my push-ups will be replaced by dips. Once my bench press starts to reach like about once the weight put on my upper body and a push-up starts to reach about on the bench press starts to reach about at least 100 times. Which currently is about 2/3 of my weight. The truth about why people break the New Year's resolution to lose weight, and that's because losing weight in the middle of winter is not a good idea. You need that extra fat store in the winter. You need those extra fat stores in the winter. If you lose weight in the winter, you're fucked. Nature does not allow for that to happen. Nature requires almost all mammals to gain weight in the winter. Just so they could survive through the harsh winter. It's not just those in Siberia that have greater stores of fat. Those living at high altitudes might need greater stores of fat too. And a larger rib cage. Because not only they are dealing with extreme cold, but they are also dealing with lower atmospheric pressure. Which means they need bigger lungs, so they could get enough oxygen to survive. Losing weight in the winter as a mammal is not healthy. The amount of fat cells you have is always increasing throughout your whole life. problem with getting too lean, it's not just that you'll feel cold all the time, but it's part of the problem. You'll feel as if you're cold all the time. And it's not the only problem with being super lean. Another problem you might face when you get super lean is your workout's gonna suck. Big time. It's gonna suck. I know, I had to deal with it when I was in my most severe stage of anorexia. Your body would have nothing to turn into glycogen when you work out, which means your body would start burning through its own muscle when you work out, when you don't have much fat left. Your body has to hold on to what little fat you have, just to keep you alive. That type of fat is called essential fat. Women have a greater requirement for fat deposits compared to men. It's not just in case they were to have a baby, but it plays a role. Kind of plays a role. With fat storage, the only way women can get as lean as men is to be taking steroids, and that's about it. There are those people on the internet that claim to be full natty, even though they don't, even though they are definitely on steroids. Those who think that Tristan Lee is not natty are not taking height into account, as he is really short. Probably shorter than my mom. When it goes height, people were led to believe that Napoleon was really short. In fact, with his height, he was actually pretty tall. For the time that he was alive. He was actually pretty tall. He was like 5'7". I know it's still shorter than me. But back then, he was pretty tall. some people with autism might be more likely to develop gigantism. Because usually people with autism tend to be above average when it goes to height. I'm one of those. With improved quality of life, people with autism can actually live a normal lifespan. Normal life expectancy. The sad thing about people with Down syndrome is that most people with Down syndrome often die from heart problems. Because it's a syndrome that doesn't just affect your brain. It affects your heart. We have to improve the quality of life for those with Down syndrome. Because I know some people with Down syndrome. One of the physical features of those with Down syndrome would be a small, it applies to most people with Down syndrome. A small nose bridge would be one of those. Another one would be epicanthial folds, aka Asian eyes. And I'm not trying to make stereotypes, but it's one of the physical features of those with Down syndrome. Usually they'd be short-statured. They'd usually be pretty short. Whilst oftentimes people with autism might usually be pretty tall. Because I have a friend with autism who's about my height. One way how we might cope with the obesity epidemic is we'd probably end up growing taller. And possibly end up growing stronger too. You know, the problem with being super lean is if you get too lean, your testosterone levels are going to drop. Like flies. Not only that, your workout's gonna suck. Your workout's gonna suck. Your bones could become pretty brittle. There's a YouTuber with autism that's like 6'4". His name is Phantom Strider. He's definitely taller than me. People on the autism spectrum are more likely to become anorexic. To develop anorexia. Believe it or not. In my case of anorexia, I had the desire to get super lean. Like, I wanted to get to 0% body fat. Lean. And ultimately, I realized it's a horrible idea. If you got that lean, you're gonna suffer a lot of heart problems. You're gonna suffer a lot of health problems. Getting that lean is not healthy. In my case of anorexia, I wanted to get to 0% body fat. I did not desire to have something like to look like a Barbie doll. I more wanted to go to 0% body fat. I realized if I got that lean, I'd probably be dead. From a heart attack. If I got that lean. If your body can't store fat, that's probably a sign of liver failure. Which means an increased risk of bone deterioration. Being super lean is actually bad for your bones. Being very lean is bad for your bones. How is it bad for your bones? Well, you need fat to absorb vitamin D. Your bones do need vitamin D to absorb calcium and phosphorus. Without that vitamin D, your bones become brittle. Without that fat, you can't absorb the vitamin D, which means your bones could become brittle. This is why your body never has enough time to turn all the energy you consume in, consume all the fats, sugars, and proteins you consume into energy. Your body will never have enough time to do that, to use all of it for energy at once. Because if it did, you wouldn't be able to store any fat, which means bones become brittle. Organs would shut down. Just like what happened with Andreas Munza. It's one of the most tragic stories in the history of bodybuilding. It's pretty tragic. This is why bodybuilding needs to be about having a healthy body image. Not just having a good physique, but also having a healthy body image. Because there are those people who take things too far by going to like almost 0% body fat. Going that lean is not healthy. For me, in my case of anorexia, I wanted to get 0% body fat. Then I realized if I went that low, my muscles would get would weaken very quickly. I'd suffer fertility problems. I'd like to have kids someday. Because having kids can be fun. Until they knock shit over. Every parent has their ups and downs. When I have kids, I'm probably gonna condition them to a vegan diet. I'd raise them on a vegan diet. I encourage my partner to start taking supplements. Like B12 supplements. And D3 supplements. Vegan D3 supplements. I do it so the baby could stay safe on the vegan diet. I know some people think it's a horrible idea. I think it's kind of a good idea. It is possible that cats cannot produce cholesterol at all, and they have to source it in their diet. It is possible. If I owned a cat, I'd be feeding my cat raw meat. Because that's the closest thing we have to nature for cats. To their natural diet. Some people get high off of rotten meat. Ugh. Disgusting. That's basically the weird side of the internet. Like people eating rotten meat to get high. People get high off of rotten meat. Ugh. Disgusting. Sparrow is one of those guys and crazies out there that gets high off of rotten meat. Yep, yes, I'd vaccinate my kids like you're supposed to. You're supposed to vaccinate your kids. Even if your religion does not allow you to do that, you still need to vaccinate them. Regardless. That's when child welfare is more important than religious freedom. Because there are some parents out there who practice faith healing in favor of modern medicine. The results are the results can be fatal. In fact, some parents have been arrested for denying their children modern medical treatment in favor of faith healing. It's just horrible. Neglecting your child under the name of religion. It's just horrible. It's kind of common in some sects of Christianity. This is why I'm an atheist. Because for one, some of the commandments in the Old Testament tend to be kind of biased. Like, it discriminates against those who break the laws. It also discriminates against animals. Because animals are not property. They are living beings, like we are. Animals are living beings, just like we are. Yet factory farms often treat farm animals as if they were a commodity status. As always, thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more. Don't forget to share this with your friends on social media. And as always, thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more, and peace out.